This episode of Nuff Said is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. To get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
What is the sound of one hand clapping? What is the sound of one fist punching? What is the sound of the IronCast? Dear students, we are entering the final portion of the Iron Fist. The final season. Will we ever see Luke Cage? I don't know. Yeah, you know it's bad when you're watching Iron Fist and you're just saying, "Man, if only we could see Luke Cage again."
Right.
Tonight's episode, Morning of the Mindstorm, Season 2, Episode 7. As Danny steps up his training, Davos ramps up recruitment. Ward falls prey to old demons, and Misty butts heads with a captain. Our director this week is Steven Surgic. Of course, Roy Thomas and Gil Kane get their Marvel Graded By credits. Of course, the episode is a Scott Buck creation, which was written by Rebecca Demaron. Matthew Wright, Tatiana Suarez-Pico are still our executive story editors, and Jenny Lynn is once again just a regular old story editor. You kind of get the feeling that the other two are executives, or only executives because there is Jenny Lynn there to be the non-executive story editor. It's like her entire job exists just so that other people can be above. No, I pick on you, Jenny Lynn. We know that you are one of the hardest working people. We know you're the hardest working woman in the show. Jenny Lynn, doing all the work, getting none of the credit, unlike those other folks at the top of the heap. So yeah, this episode, it has a lot good going into it. But we open up with, going into the ER again. Danny spends a lot of time in ERs lately, you may have noticed.
Yeah. It's not something he's got to be used to, I guess.
And it's interesting because, that you see them using, and they say it's state-of-the-art RAND tech,
Yeah.
And, it's as good as Misty's arm, except it's not. It's a compression cast. And this is what really bugged me about it, is they're, actually drilling it into him. Was I right in seeing that? That they're, just drilling this, into the... And I get, when you have a severe thing like that, yes, you will put pins into the bone through the body. That happens. But it seemed a little odd to me that they were, just drilling those things into him like that. But what do I know? I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of goofy that he could just start walking. And again, it was one of those things where you're just like, it's the Iron Fist, just let it go.
Oh, well, yeah, we haven't gotten to that. We haven't, yeah. Well, and that's another thing is, what kind of timeline we're looking at here. It was an interesting thing. I actually thought I figured out when this all takes place, because there is this sign on the wall at one point in the building that Davos is, squatting in.
Oh, interesting.
Where it basically says, coming in 2016, these new luxury apartments.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm guessing actually that it was an old poster. That it's not that the apartments are coming in 2016, meaning that this predates 2016, but that this is after 2016, and that essentially the apartments just never got built.
And then we get to, I think,
it was just a bad
what I thought was the best choreographed fight scene in this show so far. It was a small little scene, but when the one-eyed guy fights the new recruit kids, oh man, that was beautiful. Beautifully choreographed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the new recruit kids, those are an interesting addition to this. Because what's interesting is that when we first meet them, Davos, wants to know who these kids are following them. and makes the and
not yet.
And One Eye says, "Hey, do you want me to put him on the list?" And Davos says, "Not yet."
And of course, this episode which
is disturbing in its own way.
The tweakers looking for a fix. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like at a certain point, and you can see even One Eye.
And again, and that seems so over the top
where he's like,
to me. Like even somebody as
cool,
crazy and wild as Davos, I think, wouldn't act this ruthlessly, or needlessly ruthlessly.
Well, I guess you haven't seen the third episode yet. Oh, the next episode yet. Because, yeah, this is, they have set up Davos to really do his, what we call in the psychology business, decompensation. Where you start to sort of lose your grip and start moving outside of, you become unaware of the limitations that should be on your world, and trouble arises because of that. Yeah. So, but in the meantime, we do have
at the bar. I've always loved Ward as a character, and I'm glad he's getting so much interesting Ward story here to play with.
At the bar,
I love that scene where he's in the bathroom. He's like, "What do you think? I'd just be, hanging out at a shitty bar in Maria." And that laugh, laugh is such a given up kind of laugh,
Yeah, well, not for nothing. Like I said, Ward is a guy. He has a hard time dealing. Like I said, he is a puppy that doesn't understand why everyone's mad that he pooped on the rug. Because it's like, I pooped on the rug. Am I not supposed to poop on the rug? You don't want me to poop on the rug? Oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna go poop on the rug, and then we can talk this out some more. And that's, for me, that is Ward in a nutshell. He's a puppy dog that just won't stop pooping on the rug. And you don't want to hate him. And he looks at you with those big, doleful, sad eyes. And you're like, Ward,
when
just
did he
stop
poop on the rug?
Because
I feel like he's also like a victim of the whole situation.
The rug is not for pooping.
Yeah, but I think he had a point, though. He makes a solid point to Joy before, where he's like, you know what he did to me? You have no idea. So before you go on thinking, you don't know the whole story. And
oh, yeah. Well, no, and that's fair. I don't think Joy is mad as much about not knowing.
That's what I mean. That's what's confusing about her
motivations.
I think
she kind of understands that was actually a positive. What? Yeah.
But is that enough of a frustration
because
to sort
everyone
of just
makes these decisions for her?
Really try to break somebody's mind and soul down,
Well, except, they've been doing this to her whole life. And for what it's worth, this is what I think is kind of the point, is that when Ward has when Joy is sort of building her own situation, Ward still can't help but go in there and outbid her and take over everything.
Right.
So she doesn't have to take the risk. But it's like, I'm taking the risk because I believe in the project. Let me do my job. Let me be who I want to be. But Ward, doesn't want that.
Yeah, but that's almost like saying that justifies what she did.
That's kind of the sad aspect of it, Well, here's what I'll say. I don't know that she knew what she was signing up for when she got involved with Davos. I think Davos said, "Oh, I'm very mad at Danny too. I want to take the Iron Fist from him." And she was probably like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, take that Iron Fist from him, take him down a peg, you know." And but then it escalates, and then what Davos does with the Iron Fist takes it all that much further, you know. And, to the point you made last episode, we do get someone else who sort of sees your point of view, which is, let him go. Let him go. He's not killing any innocent people. He's just murdering criminals, and that's not our problem,
Right. Yeah.
But I do think that, of course, is a very short-sighted view, and I don't know if cops would really be like that, because not for nothing, he may be fighting the Triad War as a one-man army, but the fact of the matter is, there's still collateral damage when someone's a one-man army. The fact of the matter is he's bringing violence to the streets, and he's already crippled, the Triads easily, The Triads are very lost. The Triads, both the Golden Tigers and the Hatsits. I mean, heck, Rhino might actually be able to make a play for power had he not joined up with Davos. But it's a situation where, I think that, I think that Joy feels justified in her anger at Danny and Ward. Because in both cases, they're people that are just deciding to make these decisions, and neither one of them is acknowledging her input on these decisions. Or anyone's input, really. Because, I mean, you think about, like, Danny Rand and the whole crux of last season with his 51% of shares. Which I don't think it actually works that way. Because first off, you have certain fiduciary responsibilities, and going around,
and he has plenty
violating those fiduciary responsibilities could get you declared mentally incompetent. So, well, exactly. This is my point. So, I am disinclined to think that Danny's walking through life with so few consequences is that believable, but I guess maybe to Joy's point is that in this universe it is believable. And for what it's worth, I guess maybe it is believable even in our own universe. And the fact of the matter is Danny and Ward are both two people who treat her like the baby sister. And don't really have a right or a cause to do so. And so I get how she's angry, but I do think that she already knows it all got out of hand. It was all more than she really bargained for. We do, and like I said, we do get, of course, the Misty Night scene with the downtown captain, who's like, nope, don't care. If an innocent person gets hurt, then we'll talk about that. And not for nothing, we may be getting there with Davos because we did see him, curb stop, just a couple of, lowly beggars, really. I mean, you can call them crackheads, but they're really just beggars and thieves. And not for nothing, not the worst of humanity, although obviously they're not that great of examples of humanity either, So you don't want to defend, about how, the goodness of the crackheads, but at the same time, I think maybe there's a deeper story there, which is that they were human beings still.
Right. No,
that even if they were awful,
the punishment has to fit the crime. You can't just be taking life so cavalierly that you just could say, oh, okay, I've decided this person deserves to die. Have you really thought this through? You just met this person. You just walked into this situation. all of a sudden you've considered all the variables and you've decided to take this ultimate action based on your 5 seconds of familiarity with the situation. That's crazy. Yeah. Indeed.
Well, exactly. Well, and that is the point. Is Davos is crazy. Davos be crazy, Mozz. If you didn't catch that already,
I think we get
Davos
to. I think my favorite conversation in this whole thing was this scene with Joy and Mary, and the little flashback of Mary being in Sokovia, apparently, which is interesting, right? Right.
Oh yeah, that was intense. Yeah, good old Sokovia. It is our one-stop shop in the Marvel Universe right now for any place foreign where bad things happen. Whether there's honestly, I tell you what, man. After watching those things, maybe I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't really feel so bad for all those people who got their town dropped on them. You know, really, this is some crazy fascist, monstrous terrorism kind of people here. You know, maybe I shouldn't be so worried about them.
Mary has, you know, with Walker
they killed
via the video. But man, what a surprisingly powerful moment. She's really just relenting control. She goes, you know, you're right. And what Joy said resonated with her. And it was so interesting watching, you know, Joy open up to Mary in a sense, because she didn't know anything. She had nothing to fear. And anything that, you know, Mary said to her, she was willing to take on face value. Like she said, you don't seem like you're a bad person. And instead of sort of looking inward and feeling guilty or doing anything, she just said, you know, well, everybody has many sides. So she's still aware of the good side of her, and she still is willing to take pride in it, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for what it's worth, what you actually see here with Mary is the classic monster superhero dilemma, which is, you know, they don't. You have access to this power, but you fear it because in order to access it, you have to become something where you're not in control. But at the same time, quite frankly, it's really hard to walk away from that power. And I think that's what we see with her. Because here she's doing everything she can to keep Walker at bay, but then the minute she realizes Walker can do good,
she found like
and
a bit of gratitude in her.
She turns away.
For what she'd done, that had been sort of turning a blind eye to just because of defense mechanisms and survival instinct and all of that. But it was such a heartfelt and sweet little conversation between her two selves. I thought that was a really powerful. She's sacrificing herself and just saying, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. That's a neurotic person. That's why she created this other personality. But in this moment, she's like, you know, I'm not going to worry about it. I think you got me. She's finally trusting Walker, which is a huge and powerful moment. I thought it was played really well. I felt it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it is neat because, and especially because it does create that, you know, interplay dynamic between them. It's, you know, it sort of reminds me of, you know, and it so happens in these kind of stories, you know.
But see, this is more than that. This is not just finding peace.
When they realize that they can find
relenting control,
a way to
she's
be together,
sacrificing herself in a manner of speaking, at least temporarily or whatever. But like she's giving of herself. She's not just meeting halfway. It's you know, I think it's deeper than that. I think she recognizes it, and she's like willing to repay the debt Walker has you know, helped her out so many times. She's willing to repay that debt by saying, "Here, I give of myself to you," which is huge.
Yeah. Although not for nothing, you know, she also knows that she'll be back. You know, that if I, you know, basically she was letting her know, if I wake up one day in Arizona, I'm okay with that. Which I thought was a really great idea about Arizona because, you know, very little rainfall.
Arizona.
That's why it's called Arizona. It means the dry place. Yes, exactly. Oh, anyway.
Joy goes to visit Davos.
I'm trying to remember what happens in this episode. Yeah, Joy goes to visit Davos and sort of. It's interesting because it's that very interesting question about what is Joy's game plan here. Is she playing Davos? Does she really want to have some kind of acknowledgement with Davos? Or, is she just so aware of his danger that
I think
she's
she showed up there, and I was surprised at how
no one else can.
Not subtly and deftly she played that hand. Like she came in, well, she started off really well. And Davos bought in. He bought in all the way, holding her hands. You have nothing to fear. We can do this together. I've missed your company. And she had him eating out of her hand. And then she just blunders, like trips over herself. Oh, yeah, what about that bowl, huh? And immediately Davos looks at her and he's disappointed and angry, but he holds it all in. And then he just says, okay, just stand over there. And you're going to see what I'm building, and this is going to be bad for you too. I could see that in his eyes, like immediate recognition. Why would she want the bowl? The only reason somebody would want the bowl is if they're trying to get the bowl to redo the ceremony. He says it's essential for transference.
Oh,
he's like, come on, what are you silly? That's.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I think a part of me just thinks that Davos is just so puppy dog over her.
That is interesting.
Basically, I kind of feel like all of the people in Joy's life are all puppy dogs.
Yeah.
And they're all just like following after Joy, like, Joy, what are you doing today? Joy, squirrel. Joy. And speaking of squirrels, of course, Ward does get his distraction of squirrels here with just getting drunk. And when he goes to the NA meeting, he does the classic listens outside the door thing. And finds out that he's going to be a dad.
I'm surprised he didn't walk in the door.
That you're going to be a dad.
But I guess maybe he wanted to go get cleaned up before he faced her again.
Yeah, well, I think it's...
Right. But I think he's been walking around looking for some sort of purpose. I think this woke him up. The way he walked out, at least I saw a different look on his face.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely going to. I imagine we're going to be seeing a better.
That great scene with Colleen finally giving in and agreeing to train Danny, old school style,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
no, that doesn't happen here. This is basically just initiating us into that relationship. In this one, or was that next episode? Yes, Sensei.
That doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, yeah, and it is. Yeah, it's. Yeah. I mean, it's a good relate. I mean, it's a good. It's fun, although you can see that there is this weight to it. And this sense of sacrifice, a sense of sacrifice that is almost like,
graduate,
if I become your sensei,
until you fight Davos, and then we can go back. Which is understandable, because honestly, you're talking about life and death situations here. There's not a guarantee that you're both going to make it out, so might as well give it all of ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so, but I think there's also this quality that, this alters their dynamic in a way that they may not be able. Here's what I'll say. I get the feeling that there's maybe the implication that this is altering their dynamic in a way that they may not be able to get back. Not for nothing. It's important to always remember in this that Danny's not with Colleen in the comics. Danny and Colleen are not an item in the comics. This is something that is purely a Netflix creation. Actually, interestingly enough, Danny and Misty are the item. Although I guess recently they're a little bit on the outs too. So, I'm sure Danny can be insufferable even in the comics. Yeah, and if we want to step away from just the timetable here,
oh god,
because what's weird about it is it's like, okay, so is Danny just healing really fast?
No,
or
I think he's just healing really, really.
Do
super
these
fast.
next two episodes
they're
take
trying
place
to give
over
us some
6 months
lame excuse and expecting us to go with it because it's the Iron Fist.
Yeah, I mean, it's a training montage, and all things are possible in a training montage. But a training montage, just for the record, is supposed to be taking place over days. Training montages aren't supposed to be real-time depictions. Yeah, it's like this is supposed to be, and I kind of took it that they were training for months. This was 3 or 4 months' time that they spent.
Well, maybe they'll get to the 3 or 4 months. Maybe it was just one afternoon of Danny trying and Colleen giving in, and then they're like, okay, so we'll end the episode here, and we'll just imply the 3 months. In the next episode or something.
Yeah, well, I mean that's. I guess because I did watch the next episode. It's very good. It's very good. I really think this show is definitely getting better as it goes.
Yeah.
And I really do like the Davos connection and the Davos's plan. And, it is just interesting to watch these really flawed and scared and difficult people trying to navigate their lives. And I just think it makes for a good story overall.
Oh, yeah, indeed. I think Joy's character deserved better. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying. They brought a lot of other characters that sort of hold the show up when Danny doesn't.
Yes. Which is often.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thoughts on tonight's episode, Mozz?
I thought it was one of the better episodes so far. I was very interested to see where it's going from here.
And how can people find you if they want to tell you how awesome the episode was, or if they want to sort of question your critical credentials? How can they do so, Mozz?
Oh, I love a good argument. If somebody wants to argue with me, I'm always down for that. But they could reach me via email at mozzmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And, of course, you can always write to me in an old-fashioned email where we are Mozz and Pods instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @thegmails.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, hey, me and Mozz are going to be doing a podcast about.
That's right.
On the Nuff Said channel when it comes back, man, just after, I think it's after Infinity War, but it might be after Captain Marvel. We're going to have to see, but we're all looking forward to it. And, of course, you can follow me on the Twitters as I live tweet all these kinds of great shows about superheroes and other comical and interesting thingies at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEssescr. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
Bing!
For quality. Okay. Dearest students, thank you for once again taking the time to walk upon the path of the Iron Fist with us. Know that the path of the Iron Fist and the path of the IronCast, they never intertwine, but they do both walk parallel on forever.